Hey everybody, this is Pastor Dustin recording for TeamNerdChurch.com. And last week I put up something in preparation for a P2Q that I'm going to. And I thought about doing it. I walked over here and I had every intention of doing another seal deck. But then I saw that they've got cube going up. And so I thought, I have never cubed before. So what better thing to do than to completely embarrass yourself on the internet by cubing and recording the very first one for people to see. So I'm going to cube for you guys. I don't know which cube this is, what the archetypes are. I'm just going to figure it as I go along. So it's going to be fun. Alright, here we go. So we've got Him to Torak, super strong. I'm pretty sure this card is like $100 on paper. A good old Storm Breath Dragon. Strip Mine, man, that's strong. Crusader, Nantuko Shade, Obstinate Baloth, Flame Javelin, okay, Elixir, Shapeshifter. That is a lot of text to read. Alright, I'm pretty sure that's an awesome card that I'm just not picking up here. I'm going to hover over him here while I look at all the rest of them, just in case I time out. We've also got Stacks. I don't think that I know enough about the Stacks deck to be able to draft it, so that was probably a really quality pickup, but I'm going to leave it there. Got ourselves a dual, Prophetic Bolt, and a Lightning Bolt. I think that just the overall strongest card here is Him to Torak. Strip Mine is also quite strong. And so that's why I'm going to go him. So we're probably looking at more of a control-based deck here. I'll pick up Him to Torak. Alright, we get our next pack here with Abrupt Decay. Brings us over into green, but it's a fine card. Blistering Firecat, not wild about. Commander. Its level up cost is colorless, but it's double blue, so that gets us pretty heavy in the blue. Countryside Crusher. Okay, so that's a fair card, but really not what we're looking for. Dictate's fine. What does Ink Eyes do here? Looks like that ninjutsu cost is pretty high. Take a look at this. For 5? Whenever it deals combat damage to a player, you may put target creature card from that player's graveyard into the battlefield under your control. I don't know that that's that good. I could be wrong, but it really seems like it's pretty heavily based on... and I am quickly running out of time here. I guess Abrupt... Okay, well, that's a wasted pick, and let the embarrassing begin very quickly. Well, we got a couple of Planeswalkers here. We're in black and white unexpectedly. We've got Chandra, which is an okay card. Jace Beleren. The effort's pretty decent. Devil's Play, it's got a flashback cost on it, so that helps you out for the long run. Got a Quality Morpher, Mana Confluence, Tragic Slip, which is probably unconditional removal most of the time. So we'll slip with that for now. We'll reserve it. 10th Street Hooligan, too many colors. Spreading Seas, I'll skip right on by that one. Hyalmar Depth's the same. Okay. So it seems to me like Tragic Slip is the best. We'll try to stick in black here. Yeah, I'll stick in black. I don't know, there's a chance that I go black-white of some variety. Alright. So we've got a couple of duels here. We've got black and green as well as red and green. We've got huge bum over here, Nicol Bolas, Planeswalker, which I've never really played before. Obviously, it's just a huge I win card if it manages to hit, so for some reason I will pick up Spectral Procession. Alright. So being unfamiliar with cube is going downhill fast. What does that even do? Okay, I put 3 white. Okay, so that's a pretty strong card. Well, we're accidentally picking white cards, so perhaps this is the hand of God pushing me into white. We've got a Tropical Island here. So what are our... that's not strong enough for me. Let's see, what are we looking at for white here? When it comes in, you can exile target artifact or enchantment. Okay, so that's a possibility, and we're already that direction. We're not seeing a lot of black in this passage. We do have Deep Analysis, which is pretty strong. Killed Marauders. And Mindslaver. think I'm being pushed toward white, so even though that's not the strongest of cards, I'm going to pick that up just for the white. Got Enlightened Tutor. I do have one enchantment here. Would be good for. Got a Sign in Blood. A Marsh Flats. The fetch land might help. Let's see. Enlightened Tutor is awfully strong, but I don't have a whole lot of artifacts and enchantments that I want to tutor up just yet. So I think that I'm going to pick up the Marsh Flats to fix my mana. So right now we are doing some variety of a black-white deck. I don't even know what to call it at this point. Okay. So we've got a Pain Seer, which if we stick with a low curve, which I think that the Spectral Procession has a converted mana cost of 6. I don't think they count that as 3. So these could hurt me, but if I end up going lower curve, maybe get some quick beats in, do some hand disruption, kill a couple of their creatures, I could go aggro. There's also a Weathered Wayfarer here, which might be able to do a fair bit of thinning. I think I'm going to stick with the Weathered Wayfarer for now. That's just a higher quality card. Again, I've never cubed before, I could be completely wrong. Okay, well, we've got a good one here for the aggro plan with the Vampire Lacerator. Also got Cursed Scroll, which is really good. Nothing else for the black-white plan. Yeah, I don't think Momentary Blink's going to do it for this deck at the moment, so I think Lacerator or Cursed Scroll. The Cursed Scroll is probably just a better card in general, and I've got a better chance of seeing the Lacerator come back around, whereas the Cursed Scroll is just going to get picked. So I'll start with the Cursed Scroll. Alright, so now I've got Shade up here as an option. That could be good in this deck, especially if we end up going heavier black. Plenty of fine cards here, but nothing that really fits into this deck that I have put myself into. So yeah, we'll just start with the Shade here. Alright, so it is between a white land. Let's see. Hideaway. This land enters the battlefield tapped. When it does, look at the top 4 cards of your library, exile 1 face down, and put the rest. For white, you can play the exiled card without paying its mana cost if you attacked with 3 or more creatures this turn. Okay, well, I very well might be attacking with 3 or more creatures with this deck. I've also got, I should have picked the Snuff out, I was just getting to that one. Okay, but we got the land. Here there is just flat out nothing for the white-black deck. So, I don't know, maybe pick up the Morph just in case we're short on playables. This one could help us scry if we wanted to splash blue, but we end up there with the Morph. Okay, we've got the red and green lands or Erebos. I don't know that Erebos would really end up getting turned on. It's probably better than the duel that doesn't hit any of our colors. So, we'll stick with Erebos. And now we have his Dictate coming around. I don't see playing that, but it's in the colors, so let's go ahead and pick it up. Alright, I've got Memory Jar and Pillage. Got a better chance at playing Memory Jar than I do Pillage. And a Mog Fanatic last. Okay. Well, we have a couple of cards that were on that plan that I was talking about, the Weathered Wayfarer. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's 6 cards, so we've really got to pick up on this. Alright, so we've got a Genie Goldmane. +1 to gain 2 life. -1 to put a 1/1 counter on each creature you control and give them Vigilance. Should be pretty good with the low creature deck. Okay, so that one's okay. All His Dust is way too high on our curve. Koth is out of color. Let's see, what do we have here? Sanguimancy. That one falls into our game plan pretty well. Get that early drop. Let's see. Oh, we've got Swords to Plowshares here. That seems to be the pick. Okay, so we're going to pick that up. And if you noticed, we've got Swords to Plowshare as the little icon that you see over here. and this is the Ice Age art. And the reason that I picked Swords of Plowshare to be the thing for the site is that it's actually a biblical reference. It's talking about in the future when there will be no more war and they'll beat all of their swords into plowshares. And so this one's got some cool art with it. You can see you got the little halo going on and the dove coming out of here, which is a symbol for the Holy Spirit. But I didn't pick this art. I actually picked the earlier one, the one that was originally an alpha, just because I think it looks cooler. So there you go. So there's a little lesson on why I picked that. And now we come back around to see some pretty quality black cards. We've got Skin Render, which would be on the top part of a curve that I'm hoping to have, but it's usually a kill for the sort of thing that you want to be swinging through. I've also got Vampire Nighthawk, which I think is actually better. So I'm going to reserve that one lower on the curve, and the lifelink could help me a little bit in the long run. I've got Step Links, which would be good if I had a whole bunch of fetches, but I can't count on that. And a Wrench Mine could be good, and that'll probably wheel in this deck. I'm hoping to maybe just get out a couple of early creatures and then do some hand disruption like with the Hymn. So for now, I'm going to pick up the Vampire Nighthawk and see what awaits me. Okay, so we got one of the Jaces here. Necropotence, huh? Well, this could be good in this deck. I could make this a Necropotence deck. I know this is probably geared for more of a combo deck, but it could be good in this thing. Oh, Ravagers of War, though. Okay, see, this seems better than the Necropotence. If I can get down a couple of early threats and then wipe the whole board, I could probably get in some games that way. Coming back around, I hope that I can get an Elite Vanguard or maybe a Necropotence. But this seems like the real plan. Get some early hand disruption, especially if I can get targeted hand disruption to take out the low drops. Get a couple of real threats and then take out all their lands. Okay, so I've got some sort of plan. Whether it's a good plan or not, I do not know, but I can tell you it's a plan. Alright, what do we get here? We get Ether Vial, which could be strong, especially if I'm taking out land. So we'll reserve that. What do we have here? Lands don't untap. At the beginning of each player's upkeep, you can untap one land. Okay, so that's another possibility if I'm trying to hose lands. Spirit Bonds is strong, but I'll probably get that one back. I've got Journey to Nowhere, which is really good. Okay, so that gives me a whole bunch of tokens. I think that I want to be staying lower on my curve. So, this is a tough choice here, but I think Ether Vial is probably just the best card, although I would be thrilled to see any of these guys come back to me. Ether Vial also is no respecter of colors, so I'll pick that one up. Okay, so we've got Damnation, Sinkhole. Yeah, there really are a couple of land things going around. I think I might go into that. So Damnation's not where I want to be just because I'm so creature-based. I do have a nice land here, Phyrexian Arena, so it seems like I'm getting my colors coming around. Let's see, Wall of Reverence, not really where I want to be in this aggro deck. That one's a little high. So maybe I want to be right here on Sinkhole. I'm going to try to go for some sort of bizarre early beatdown disruption strategy that may or may not work. Okay, I've got Condemn as some cheap removal. I've got Grave Robber. Costs 2, and you can pay 2 to exile target card from an opponent's graveyard. If no cards are in the graveyard, flip it. And when it's flipped, you can put target creature card from a graveyard under the battlefield under your control, and it's a 4/2. So that might also be good. So we'll reserve that for now. Duplicate's way too high. Oblivion Stone, I'm going to say that's too high on my curve. And Revoker is probably good, but I'm not knowledgeable enough about what's in the cube to be able to revoke well, especially in the first. So I'm going to start with the Grave Robber and get some graveyard hate in there. Okay, coming around, we're seeing a Genie, Collar of the Pride. Fits well into the curve. Could make my creatures just a little bit beefier, and that minus ability could possibly be relevant. So we'll start that. We also have Oust. More reasonable removal, coming along with Life Gain. And then Tendrils of Corruption. Yeah, Tendrils of Corruption, a cheaper version of what I'm used to, but I think I have too much white for it to really shine. And I do have some decent white here. I've got Swords, I've got the Armageddon. Yeah, I'll end up picking a Genie here. Let's see. What is an option out of this pack? We've got Crucible of Worlds. Let's see. I do have a fetch land, so if I pick up more, this could be a possibility. Catastrophe's too high on my curve. Here's Downfall's versatile, so I'll reserve that one. And there's also Stonecloaker. It's a 3/2 flyer with flash, and when it enters the battlefield, I have to return a creature I control to my hand, and exile a target card from the graveyard. So that one's actually really strong as well, especially to dodge removal. But for now, we'll just pick up the Hero's Downfall. Okay, so that Sarcomancy came around. I hope that I've got more zombies, so I'm not just relying on that one. But even if it's just that one, I'm fine with it. So, any other zombies? Not really. So the Prowler, it's 3/1 flyer, discard a card. So that's pretty strong as well. Now I'm going to stick over here in that 1-drop slot, really try to stack those up. Okay, so Wrench Mind is the only choice for me out of this. Sticking more with the discard plan. Let's go ahead and add a couple of those. Alright, coming back around. We got the Necropotence, so that's a possibility. Alright, so counting up all of our 4 drops and under, we've got, Vanguard though? It's a possibility, I don't know. Too late in there. Okay, so if we're going to stick with the land plan, we've got this. If we wanted to go Spirit Bonds, which is another quality card. I don't know. I think I've got to stick with this just because I've got kind of a sub-land theme going on, so we'll try that out. Alright, I get a shock land. So here we go. Cards 4 and under that I plan to play, and I'll count this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Don't really care, but I'll take out the combo card. I think it was 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Okay, so I basically already have a deck together. I just need a couple of cards to round it out. If I were to just go black, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So I could take that plan if I got a whole bunch. I've got a Dark Confidant here to start things off with. Especially with the pretty low curve, that's a decent pick. I've also got Brimaz and Silverblade Paladin. I don't know that I have anything that necessarily pumps them that well. Let's see, I've also got Mind Sensor over here, which could really wreck somebody's day. And Mother of Runes, yeah, it's really stacked up. And so I'm probably going to make the wrong pick here, but it's Dark Confidant, Mother of Runes, Mind Sensor, Silverblade, I think that's probably a little bit lower, and Brimaz. I'm going to start with the Dark Confidant, although it is a fight in my mind between that and Brimaz. I'd like the possibility of just taking this in a mono-black direction. For my white, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, it really is pretty down the center. I've got another Wrath effect, which is not where I want to be. Tundra's not doing me any good. Yeah, this pack, does this have anything? This is way up there on the curve. Man, there is just nothing here for me. It's like a morph creature, and that's it. Oof, what do you pick here? I guess I just pick up the Day of Judgment. Doesn't look like it's something that I'd want to play on my deck, but It's also something I don't want played against me, so I guess I will hate a good card in my colors. I just don't want to play. So we'll go for the Wrath. Alright, coming up. Got a Liliana of the Veil. That fits into my game plan with the discard theme. Okay, yeah, I think that's a solid pickup for my deck. Coming back around, I wouldn't mind the Scarhide. That doesn't really fit with my deck too well. I've got a Celestial Purge, which will be nice for the board. An Ice Crown Scepter. Do I have something that would just break the game open with Scepter? It's got to be an instant card. 2 or less. I could put Swords on a stick. What else? Tragic Slip on a stick. Wrench? Or no, it has to be an instant, right? Yeah. So, what else is an instant that I have? Yeah, that would be really strong. Still think that Liliana is probably better, so I'm going to take her. But if that Scepter for some reason comes back around, I'd be happy to take it. Yeah, I wish that those two weren't in that same pack. Alright, here, I've got a pretty strong pick in Brain Maggot. It goes along with the discard plan, especially if I can rip something targeted early. Now, on top of that, the only other card here is really Decree of Justice, which I'm not going to do that well with my curve. So I'm not going to look at that. Rabble Master is in here. That's right. I bought those from Star City Games at $1 a piece, and for some reason I sold out when they hit 5, and now they're like 10. But anyway, Rabble Master, excellent card. Not going to play it. Let's see. This can become a 2/2, a 4/4, and then an 8/8. That's interesting, the way that kind of scales up. I wasn't playing during this set in particular. But if it comes back around, I'll pick that up as a white card. But for now, I'll stick with that discard plan. Alright, what do I get now? I get Heliod, Hero of Bladehold. Check that out. Braids. Braids is also really good. Especially if I can be hitting their lands. But Hero is just so ridiculously good. Yeah, I don't think I can pass up the Hero. Even though I wanted to see if I could go all black. And Braids is strong. Can't pass that up. So anyway, that's on reserve. Short Fang. Well, that's pretty good on the discard plan. At the beginning of each opponent's upkeep, a player loses 1 life for each card fewer than 3 in his or her hand. That'll probably come around, and I don't think the Bladehold will. So I'll pick the Bladehold, hoping to spin the Short Fang or Braids. Okay, hey, there's an Armageddon. There we go. So I'll stick with the lands plan. I'm hoping for, let's see, Pharika's Cure would be decent to come back around. Cackler would be fine. Nothing else that I'm really that excited about. But yeah, I'll stick with Armageddon. Got the Savannah Lions. Corrupt is way too high. And, that would also be really good. Let's see, we've got 6 1-drops and 8 2-drops. Yeah, I'm going to want to be hyper-aggressive here. Non-creature spells. Well, I've got a fair amount of non-creature spells in this, so I won't pick that to begin with, but I will hope that it wheels, and just stick with the boring old Savannah Lion. Okay. No white cards to pick from. Got Attrition. Unless I've got something that just bounces back, I'm not wild about it. Diabolic Servitude. When it enters the battlefield, return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. Okay, well I don't really have anything that I need to reanimate. So, maybe it's just Attrition. Doesn't seem to be anything else in here. My colors, or even that I would be that interested in splashing, so I'll stick with Attrition for now. I'm not seeing any creatures I really want to sacrifice. Okay, coming back around. I get Entomb, but there's nothing to dig out. And the Mind Sensor. Alright, there we go. That's good against fetch lands and all different other sorts of shenanigans of people that know how to draft better decks than I do. So I will be picking up the Mind Sensor. Okay, coming around. Nothing around my curve. I don't really think I have anything blue to splash, so the Tundra is not a thing. Yep. Well, I am going to take it out just so somebody else can't have it. Okay, got the Gnarled Scarhide, and that is easily the pick for me. I don't really need Threshold. Absolutely nothing. So, I will take the thing lowest on the curve that I am most likely to interact with. Bam. Hey, Braids is back. Alright. No question, slam Braids. Got the Cure. And why not Corrupt? Okay. So, I think I did better than I had originally thought that I was going to do. We're going to see if this is actually a deck or not. Alright, so you're just going to see these disappear in chunks. Take out. Here, I'll pause it for you. Alright, so this is the first chunk. I took out everything that's just not in colors. So, let's take the stuff off the high end. We don't need Corrupt. This will be pretty good. This is really a 3-drop. Let's see, Memory Jar. So, when you sacrifice Memory Jar, each player exiles all cards from his or her hand and draws face down and draws 7 new cards at the beginning of the next end step. Each player discards his or her hand and returns to his or her hand each card he exiled this way. So, with a low curve, I think that Memory Jar might actually be good for me, especially if they're tapped out when I decide to break it, so I'm not going to cut that right away. Dictate of Erebos, I just can't see that working in this deck, so that's going to get sideboarded. Heliod might, I know it's high on the curve, but if I've got a whole bunch of little piddly stuff, this could keep me relevant. Braids is good, they're the first ones to sacrifice, and hopefully I'm going to be hitting stuff like lands. Erebos might hit. Dust Drinker, I've got my land theme. Blade holds just strong. Day of Judgment, I will cut. Ravages of War, there's the land theme. Okay, so as far as land goes, we've got Armageddon, Ravages of War, and Dust Drinker. And then I've also got a Sinkhole down there on that end, so that's my sub-theme. This is just generally strong. This is okay. Just by being a Planeswalker, it stays in for now. I'm not wild about Attrition. I know that there's a combo with Attrition and Dictate, but I'm gonna bench that for now. Generally strong, strong, strong. Okay, so Necropotence. I've got my main deck here is 35, 32 if you don't look at the lands. This is one of those cards where, with a lower curve deck, it could really get me there. It's along those same lines as Memory Jar, so I'll keep it in there for now. My discard theme, quality land destruction, removal strong, really good hand disruption. I think this one's got to go. And I've only got 14 creatures, so it might come back in later. But it just doesn't seem like its ability is strong enough. But I might change my mind there. Dark Confidant is good, but I am starting to get a little heavy over here for the Dark Confidant. I don't want to 5 myself. So, we'll see there. This is good hand disruption. This is a little too strong of a double white requirement to be main deck, so I might get sideboarded in. Scroll is good removal, or just straight to the dome. Ether Vial is spectacular. Tragic Slip is good. Cheap creatures. A good way to, let's see. Yeah, you put that land into your hand, and so this could be getting a whole bunch of land into hand right before an Armageddon. So that's strong. So the Swords and the Sven Lions. Okay, so we've got a big dilemma here, which is that I have 30 cards that I like, and I should really only be playing about, 24 of those tops, so I've got to cut about 6 cards. So what am I going to do about that? First thing I'm going to do is cut Erebos. Not always going to be turned on, and its ability straight up isn't good enough to just justify it. One of my options here is that I can go mono black, just put all this stuff in and have a really easy time with my mana curve, and, or mana requirements, and then I do get corrupt on there. I'm not going to start that way, but I'm going to keep in mind as a possible sideboard plan to just completely change what I'm doing. Alright, so I got 4 minutes to cut a bunch of cards. I think the Wrench Mind is not necessarily good if they're playing a lot of artifacts, so I'm going to put that in the sideboard and just pay attention to how many artifacts are coming in. I'm going to keep the Necropotence. I'm going to get rid of the Memory Jar. I think I only need one of those effects. This could also be good with the Armageddon, draw a whole bunch of land after you do that. Dictate, I'm still kind of on the edge on. Man. Alright. Genie, I don't think is strong enough to be making the list at this point. Alright, so I'm down to 29. Alright, for the sake of the curve, I'm going to cut this for now. Looks like I've got to cut about 2 more. I don't know, maybe the Dust Drinker doesn't do it. No, I've got to stick with that plan. Okay, really getting crunched for time here. Got to cut 2. Comment section, let me know what you guys are thinking, because I'm sure I'm messing this up in 500 different ways. Maybe Cure? Move that to the sideboard. And just don't know. What's that last one gonna be? Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. Sarcomancy, because I don't have a lot of zombies. Okay, so add basic lands. Suggest for me. Add to deck. Submit deck. Okay, so this is probably terrible, and you are probably about to watch me get the snot beaten out of me. And if you enjoy that sort of thing, then stay tuned. I'll see you guys